So that brings us to our next guest and the penultimate session before we take a break, which we've already had a bit of a break earlier. But James Priday is CEO of P1 Investment Management and MD of Priday Wealth, and he's going to tell us about his firm's decision to launch a platform. I know a growing number of advice businesses and wealth managers are considering this move, so we wanted to make sure we included this on the agenda today. James, welcome. Thanks for joining us at Advice Tech Live.
Hi, Heather. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Happy now my Wi-Fi is working.
So
if you it's always the way, isn't it? So if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about why you decided to become a platform owner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I have an advice firm, and then we have P1, which is our investment manager and platform firm. In 2012. I suppose that was really when I first came into the industry and started running the financial planning business, and I couldn't work out why the advisor was such a I suppose a small part of the total charging chain to the end client. So that really sort of made me start looking at what DFMs were charging, what platforms were charging, and trying to work out why those costs are what they are. As we then moved forward to about 2016, so as the opportunity and the technology started to look like it would allow us to potentially operate our own version of those two things, which is why we decided to launch P1. So P1 was really driven by saying, actually, you know what, I think advisors, I still absolutely believe this, advisors are the most important part of the intermediated value chain. And platforms and DFMs and even even fund management charges, they should be the much smaller part of the total cost to the end client. And that was a big driver to create our own platform. A key thing also was I still couldn't get my head around why everything was so paper-based. Obviously, not luckily, but obviously the coronavirus situation came around and it's driven people and platforms to become much more digital, which is fantastic. But that was a key reason to create our load that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, great. I think that echoes a lot of what I'm hearing. It's about controlling the three drivers we hear are either owning part of the value chain, so diversifying revenue sources, or controlling client experience. Or being able to bring down costs to the customer. Revenue sources.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I don't know why my computer decided to do this twice.
A key element of that is, I suppose, seeing that the platform is really an extension of the back office. I did feel like the industry had started looking as a platform as a product more than it really needed to be. A platform is really just a window through to opening some tax wrappers, trading some securities, and maybe getting a bit of reporting functionality. I mean, most people running a platform wouldn't say this, but the sort of the high level things of what a platform does is relatively simple and it's relatively generic. There are some bells and whistles that can come into it, but I think a key thing with the platform is making sure that it actually integrates with the back office and integrates with other financial planning software and really does what the user of it, which is generally the advisor, wants it to do, not what the person providing it wants it to do. So that was a key driver.
Great. Okay. I think you're going to share a demo of your platform.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I was just going to very high level. And how long do I have, Heather? Just so I know how quickly I should.
I've completely lost track of time. I mean, we have 10 minutes for the session, so I think it was 10 minutes for the session. But yeah, you have a few minutes.
Great. Okay. So with P1 platform, we work with Settle Technology and Settle Custody, which is now an Octopus company. Great technology that's allowed us to move forward way quicker than we could have otherwise moved. So what you're saying here is clearly the login screen. We allow advisor firms to completely white label this. Excuse some of the data once I go into the platform, because this is our testing area, so some of the data probably looks a bit strange. First thing you see is an overview of the dashboard information. So high level management information for the advisor or the user in that advisor firm. To do anything within the platform, there is no paper application at all. We will actually accept paper. We'll send paper back to you if you ever send paper to us. So don't send paper to us. We wanted to make everything so it's seamless and could happen within one instruction within a couple of minutes. So, for example, adding a new client, all of this information is basic information you would expect to add for any platform application form. I'm just scrolling down through here. Once you've entered the information, you click review. You then review the information, you submit. Instantly with the P1 platforms, the client receives an email, asks them to create a password. They then sign terms and conditions electronically, and then they tick a box to set up an electronic direct debit mandate. So that whole process, you can set up an active, usable client account in about 2 minutes. So it's all driven by client receives an email, client logs into the platform account, and then they approve something to happen. So we have done a fully live client within about a minute and a half. So it really is that quick. So excuse some of this data in here. Just to show you a couple of the other areas. Everything with the platform is all to do with just efficiency. So once the clients made their account active, which you can see there, you can then start creating underlying wrap accounts. So here you can see some high-level boxes: value, growth, uninvested cash. Each of the underlying sub-accounts you set up, a GIA, you can have as many of those GIAs as you want, or as many ISAs or as many SIPs. That's just subdividing the accounts so you could have different strategies or different withdrawal profiles across that one underlying wrapper. Again, just dipping into the reporting area, you can report on over any time period anything such as charges, performance, so both realized and realized investments in the period. So all that information is right there at a click of a button. To create a new platform account, again, once you've created the actual active client account, you can create an ISA or a pension in a couple of minutes. So you can simply go in here, create, say, a ISA wrapper type. You can create that ISA. You then submit and you're good to go. The client doesn't even need to do anything there. The advisor can just create the account and it notifies the client that something's happened. So you really do have instant account creation, which we think is a massive benefit. You can just transact as and when the client gives you an instruction, go ahead and do it. You don't need to get them to sign anything or get them to electronically sign something. Just to drop into one of these underlying accounts very quickly. Again, you see this high-level information just for this account. You then drive all actions via these 3 action buttons here. On action, you can create, say, a single payment. You create the whole instruction in one go. You can put a direct debit payment method. You can do up to £250,000 as a single direct debit payment in, saving the client have to sort of input reference numbers, etc. Put in your advisor fee, keep it as cash, or get it invested. So everything is a one instruction, and you're away really. I could go on, but that probably gives a decent quick overview of how transactionally efficient the platform can be.
Perfect. We only have time for one quick question. Sorry, because we're already out of time. The question was about whether you are a restricted advisor, but I think the platform is offered by the DFM, not the advice business, and so that's not a question for you, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So anybody can access. So we work with about 35 other firms on the platform at the moment. They can white label it. They can actually pay the platform charges. They can very much make it their own, and we'll integrate with software that they want to integrate it with. That's a key. That's a key element of our offering, really.
Perfect. Okay, great. So we're going to have to move on to our next session. There's been some, sorry, I'm trying to WhatsApp with the team. Ian, if we could go with the DT demo just before the break, that would be great. And I'll say thank you to James for joining us.